The Hawks just gained all of the leverage in regards to the trade deadline approaching February 5th, Trae Young being traded away, and who could potentially be headed to the Atlanta Hawks. I am here to discuss all of what just happened, the list of unfortunate events that landed the Atlanta Hawks to this position, and what can possibly happen going forward. Again, the trade deadline is vastly approaching, February 5th to be exact. And of course, with that, we now know that the Atlanta Hawks, they hold all the cards. I'm going to give you guys, again, the list of all the unfortunate events that took place and how the Atlanta Hawks can use it to their advantage and best believe benefit from what some Hawks believe is an unfortunate situation, being that the Atlanta Hawks got rid of Trae Young, sending him to Washington, and who could potentially be headed to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, before we get into all the news and information today, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. And when you download Kalshi using the link in the description below and you enter in the code DIGESTNBA, you will get $20 when you trade your first $100. Now, Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the United States. On their platform, you trade yes or no on real life events. Anywhere from sports to elections, news, music, anything that you can think of, all right? And whether you're in California, Texas, New York, and of course, Georgia, anywhere else across the country, Kalshi is live in all 50 states. Now, for most of us sports fans, we could trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out anytime. Now, of course, this weekend, big games in the NFL. Of course, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the 49ers. The Eagles are a whopping 68% chance over on Kalshi. And of course, Jacksonville, they are a 51% favored over the Buffalo Bills. So this is definitely an opportunity for you to get in where you fit in. It's genuinely a smarter way to use your sports news and knowledge, and you can close on positions whenever you want. All right, just go to Kalshi and download the link in the description. And don't forget to use the code DIGESTNBA where you can get $20 when you trade your first $100. And I want to thank Kalshi for sponsoring this video. Now, jumping right into the news of the day. Again, the Atlanta Hawks have gained all of the leverage when it comes to the trade deadline vastly approaching, and just how this affects everybody. Now, really quickly, I'm going to give you guys, a post of Shams Charania, basically giving us his update, or the update to basically what could possibly be headed to the Atlanta Hawks.
But the biggest thing, Malika, is also this has a major impact on the upcoming trade market, specifically with Anthony Davis. He is a prime trade target of the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks believe that making this Trae Young deal allows them to pursue a player with a large, significant salary like an Anthony Davis over the next several months.
Now, of course, yes, Anthony Davis is projected to be headed to the Atlanta Hawks, according to Kalshi.com. He's at a 29% chance of coming to the Atlanta Hawks still. And of course, what you just heard from Shams Charania was coming off of the backs of Trae Young being traded to the Washington Wizards. So, of course, with that being the case, you dig? Now, before we get into but with that being the case, Anthony Davis being injured and basically being out for the remainder of the season has definitely put a damper on his potential of coming to the Atlanta Hawks, and really the Hawks regaining leverage in all of this crapshoot. Okay, guys, let me know in the comments how you feel about this. I know most of us, if you're like me, don't necessarily want Anthony Davis to be headed to the Atlanta Hawks, mainly because of, you dig what I'm saying, the injury history. But let's really quickly go through some history really quickly. Now, Anthony Davis, of course, suffered a ligament damage to his left hand during a match versus, well, not a match, but during a game versus the Utah Jazz. As you can see here again, I'll show you the clip. That was a ligament damage to his left hand. Did look, I don't know how to read it. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what to say to that. But again, it looked like he, of course, injured his hand. Now, again, why this is important, okay? Anthony Davis is expected to miss several months due to this injury. Now, the trade deadline is February 5th. He's expected to miss at minimum 6 weeks. And if he avoids surgery, but if he needs surgery to repair the ligament, of course, it would be much longer, possibly 3 to 4 months. So again, that places him all the way to what? January, the February, March, April, May, June. The season will be over with. Anthony Davis will be out. And again, that would not benefit the Atlanta Hawks to further pursue Anthony Davis. So again, going back to this, this should definitely change within the next coming days. I'm going to go back to Kalshi and check and see what the chances are, because again, that definitely has gone down. I don't know whether or not Anthony Davis is going to be traded by the trade deadline. Given this injury, this definitely shakes up a lot of different stuff, okay? Because of the timeline, again, and the medical uncertainty that we know about this ligament damage. Again, there's 2 ways we can go about it. If you don't need surgery, it could be 6 weeks. If you need surgery, it could be months, okay? This makes the trade before the trade deadline extremely unlikely, okay? Now, the reason that this matters is because Davis has already had a substantial long laundry list of injuries dating all the way back to his time with the Pelicans. Okay, he's had lower leg injuries. He's had ligament injuries. He's had back injuries, leg soreness, really you can lower leg injuries, all of the things that you can think of. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely a major issue when it comes to Anthony Davis. And I have vocalized this in prior episodes before. I've said that we do not want to get into a situation where we feel as though we're getting a better big in Anthony Davis, when in actuality, Kristaps, we already have, I'm not going to say a problem. Well, yeah, it is a problem, just being completely frank. We have an issue with Kristaps Porzingis not being available. And I've oftentimes said this, and I will continue to say this. But the best ability that anybody can have is availability, specifically when it comes to sports. Okay, now how can the Atlanta Hawks benefit from this? Even without landing Anthony Davis, there is a way that the Atlanta Hawks can benefit, okay? We can definitely pivot, okay? The Hawks can pivot off of Anthony Davis, look to keeping Kristaps Porzingis, and also bringing in some more smaller contracted players, even some that are on expiring contracts. And we can bring in these guys on a short-term basis and help bolster the paint presence. Again, no, Kristaps Porzingis is not often available, but when he is, he's a damn good player. And the same does also go for Anthony Davis. But given the fact of his injury, it doesn't seem as if he's going to be headed to the Atlanta Hawks. So we can already X that out. If they do, wow, and I will be back to do another update to give you guys my surprise as to how that can even go down. But the Hawks can pivot, and they can target a different player, maybe Zubac even. You dig what I'm saying? Like, we can target another big, another center that could possibly come in and help bolster the paint presence. Again, though it might not seem likely, the Atlanta Hawks are definitely still looking to potentially make the playoffs. Either it be through the Atlanta Hawks Invitational, ergo the play-in tournament, or it could just be outright. I mean, the Hawks could go on a crazy run and end up in the playoffs straight outright. So it's really anywhere from here. But with the fact that Anthony Davis is now injured, you know what I mean? Yeah, you see it here. Now that Anthony Davis is injured, it could take a potential sense of months, you know what I'm saying? With all of that, I'm telling you right now, the Atlanta Hawks have definitely regained all of the leverage when it comes to going into the trade deadline. Again, trading away Trae Young, shaking off a good amount of money that they possibly would have had to have paid Trae Young, this definitely benefits the Hawks in a major way. But you let me know how you feel in the comments. Tell me how you feel about this issue. Tell me, what do you think? You know, where you guys are going with this, because I know for a fact that this benefits the Atlanta Hawks. All right. My name is Walter Pollard. This is Atlanta Hawks Digest, and I'm signing out. Peace.